Hey everybody, welcome back to BigRedEDC. Well, this is going to be a fun one because it's my first opportunity being able to check out pickled steel knives. Got a couple of them in front of us there. You got the Ghost on top and you've got the Freya on the bottom. A little bit of special edition Freya. It's called the SWD edition, and it was kind of a sort of a tweak collab from the sounds of it with Stuff We Do, a prominent South African YouTuber. Pickled steel does come out of South Africa, and for the meantime, primarily only available through South African retailers. But stick around because sounds like that's about to change. But had a great opportunity to talk with Aldo, and founder of Pickled Steel. Great guy. I enjoyed talking to him quite a bit, and especially for one reason, and I'll get that into that a little later. But like I said, we've got a couple of knives in front of us from Pickled Steel. Some similarities, some differences that you can obviously see in front of you. Similarities, both D2 steel, and the biggest similarity to me is the amazing, amazing might be too strong of a word, but the pricing on these, wow. Just absolutely wow. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about these guys. Like I said, this is the Ghost D2 G10. You've got a pretty decent sized lanyard hole there. You've got a reversible pocket clip, which is awesome. You got a little bit sticking up there, but it is a loop over. It's trying to be deep carry pretty hard, and it carries pretty darn well. But for the most part, you do have a small back spacer, fairly open construction. Centering on point, absolutely, and the fit and finish on these is really, really done fairly well. You got a little pop of orange there around the pivot collar. Got some contouring going on the G10. The screws aren't recessed, but they're fairly low, and the clip, as you can see, is recessed into the screw. But overall fit and finish, done very, very well. Now, you've got single mode of deployment on this one. Flipper snaps out there very nicely. Action, really pretty darn good. Obviously, she's rolling on bearings now. Now, there's two different editions of this one. You've got the black on black, as you can see in front of you. You also have a black and satin version. Coated blade, kind of it says titanium plated. There you go, Ghost D2. A little large, but not too bad. I know some people might not like that, but it's not too bad. Doesn't affect the operability of the knife at all. So let's get our, I forgot to tell you, choil. It's got a decent size sharpening choil on it. Definitely a sharpening choil. Very, very, way too small for your fingers. So overall, you're looking at about 7 3/4 on the overall length. About 4 1/2 on the handle, gives us about 3 1/4 on the blade, full cutting edge, and that grip length, looky there, almost 3 1/2, about 3 3/8, but it does cradle my hand very, very nicely, and you know I like that a lot. So, all right, let's get the size comparisons out there. Bug out wise, pretty close. Blades are pretty darn similar in length. Handle, of course, goes to the Ghost. And where's it at? PM2. Get that out here. And PM2 is just going to be slightly larger, as you can see. Quick weight on it. Now, like I said, this is my first experience with pickled steel, and pun intended, I guess, I'm pretty pickled and tickled to see it, because these are some fun knives, and I'll get into the 95 grams, there you go. I'll get into the main reason why I'm liking them a lot. 3.4 ounces, and we'll check our carry. And we'll do the same thing for the Freya. See, you got a little peekaboo going on there. Fairly deep for the most. Goes in the pocket very easily. Retention, pretty darn good overall. So we've already covered the fit and finish on this one. It's done very well. Overall ergonomics. Now, I can feel that clip a little bit more than I would like to. Grip-wise, it's really, really well. Like I said, it pretty much hugs my hand like I like it. Am I calling the clip a hot spot? I'm not. I can just feel it just a little bit more than I like. Now, it hits me pretty good up here. I can feel the tip a little bit. And I can feel it just a little bit like back in here. Other than that, it's really pretty darn comfortable in hand. Maybe the same for you, maybe different. Hand size does wonders when you go to compare. If you got larger hands, that clip probably wouldn't be an issue. Now, the point to point, if you have larger hands, obviously you're going to be outside that because I'm pretty much tucked right in there. But the grip is very, very good. Now, like I said, these are, well, we'll cover pricing here just a little bit. We'll take a look at the Freya, the SWD edition, real quick. Now, this one is not G10, it is GFN. It's got pretty good grip on it. I forgot to say that the grip on this G10, pretty darn good as well. Again, so not quite open as construction. You've got a pretty decent sized back spacer there. Again, clip, it is recessed, but it is not reversible on this one. You do have recessed screws. I like that, definitely. Again, it is a loop over, but you will have a bit sticking out of your pocket. Dual thumb studs for deployment. Action. Forgot to tell you about the action on the Ghost, but you could tell it was pretty darn good. And the action on this one is pretty good as well. Reverse flicking. There we go. First time out. I was going to say I'm a little iffy on it just due to the placement of the thumb studs, but I got it first time out, so I'm not doing it again. Now, D2 again, you got a nice stone wash on this blade, nice drop point, nice little swedge. Again, sharpening trail. There you go. There's the Freya SWD edition. I like that it's a little bit smaller on this one, for sure. And that's totally aesthetics. It just, yeah. D2, of course, again, but the action, pretty darn good. Now, overall size on this one, slightly smaller, maybe 1/4 of an inch, just a little bit more than 1/4. I'm getting a handle size on this one of just over 4 1/4, which is going to put us right just over a 3-inch blade, 3 1/8, and pretty much a full cutting edge on this one too. Grip length, again, perfect. Perfect for me anyway. Coming in right about that 3 1/2, which feels very, very good in hand for sure. So, size comparisons again. Bug out. Pretty close. Freya's got it by just a little bit on the handle. Blades, again, are fairly close. Bug out maybe just eats it out. And then, of course, the PM2 is going to be larger. And we'll just do a quick open side by side between the Ghost and the Freya. There you go. So, looks like, and as our measurements told us, Ghost is just slightly overall longer than the SWD edition Freya. Oh, let's get a weight on this one as well. 3.1, slightly lighter. Oh, we got to do grams. 89. Very good. And in the pocket, goes in the pocket very nicely. Like I said, you do have, it's definitely not deep carry. You have a little bit coming out. Now, out of the pocket, this one seems a little, it's not bad, but we don't quite get that pop coming out. That may have to do with the handle texture and everything. Now, again, fit and finish. It's GFN. In my experience, GFN is kind of hard to make super comfy, if you will. That's just my opinion. Now we've got flat. We don't have contouring on this. But overall, the comfort is there. Very much so. Pocket clip, definitely better on this one, for sure. I can slightly feel it right there, but it hits me really well up here. No issues with it whatsoever. Ergonomics are pretty darn good. Now, I've said in the past that GFN, that type of stuff, not my favorite handle material, and it's not, but I do like the feel and overall, I do like the overall fit and feel of the Freya in my hand for sure. So, both of these knives, what I was going to tell you, fit and finish is there. With the G10, it's done very well. With the GFN, like I said, not necessarily my favorite handle material. Just because it feels, well, you know, GFN, GRN, to me it feels cheaper than. You know, it just has a feel to it to me. Not bad though. Personal preference. You know, like me, I love micarta. To me, if every knife was made out of micarta, I guess I'd probably be pretty happy. But the overall, you know, I mentioned some really cool things coming up with Pickled Steel. I mentioned them primarily being available over in South Africa, South African retailers. Well, Aldo has set up, and he will be having a U.S. distributor, from the sounds of it, as early as the end of this month. And I think that's awesome for two reasons. Obviously, I'm a knife guy. Accessibility to knives always makes me happy, right? But the really cool thing about it, and I asked Aldo about this, and his business model is one I can get behind all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. His pricing is almost crazy in my mind. So the Freya, and now I had to do some conversion, but comes out, this one's about $23 US. The Ghost, right around $32. Obviously, that's going to change on a daily basis, kind of with currency exchange and stuff. But at the time I looked it up, that's what they were coming in at. Now, I asked Aldo, once he gets to the U.S. distributor, how is that going to affect price? And he said, shouldn't affect price much at all. He's like, there may be some shipping costs. I mean, seriously, if you're buying a knife for $23, well, especially either one of these. I mean, if you even went priority shipping, you know, add $10, you'd get this one for less than $35, and you get the Ghost for less than $45. And in my mind, yeah, please. I mean, the pricing on these for what you get out of these two knives is awesome, in my opinion. Now, his business model, when I asked him, you know, about pricing, he's like, you know what? I'd rather sell 1,000 of them for $1 than 10 of them for $10. I mean, that's just basic business. Some people don't seem to understand that, though. But I can get behind that all day. Giving you a quality budget knife at those price points is absolutely fantastic. And I hope, now I know when I showed these on SKL a while back, I think it was SKL, one of the live streams, you know, some of you familiar with Pickled Steel, very good, and we're suggesting, you know, some of the models that you'd really like to get your hands on, like the Warhog. I know that was a big one. Well, like I said, apparently the Freya, the Warhog, and hopefully I say this next one correctly, Capolavoro, Capolavoro are headed to the U.S. right now. Kelly White, I know a lot of you know Kelly, been in live streams quite often, going to be the U.S. distributor. I think that's really cool. That's awesome, Kelly. Very, very cool. Congratulations, I guess, you know. And from what I've seen to be associated with Pickled Steel is going to be a really, really cool thing. I can't thank Aldo enough. Now, these came to me via Gareth HB. Thank you, Gareth, for the opportunity to check these out. It was fantastic. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Aldo, I definitely appreciate the time you took to talk to me about the knives. And yeah, keep your eyes open, guys. We may have a U.S. distributor here very, very soon, and I think that's awesome. Awesome, yeah, 100%. So, thanks again, Aldo. Thanks again, Gareth. Thank you guys for stopping by and checking them out with me. As always, guys, like, subscribe, leave me that comment. You know I love talking to you. Till next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.